Good evening, I'm Savannah Kelly. Welcome to APTN National News. U.S. President Donald Trump is continuing to threaten the annexation of Greenland. Nunavut Premier John Mayne says the territory stands in solidarity with its neighbor and that these threats are very troubling. Justin Hardy reports.
After recent talks at the White House, Danish officials said it's pretty clear Denmark and the United States are not on the same page about Greenland's future. The issue hits particularly close to home here in Nunavut. Iqaluit and Nuuk, the capital cities of Nunavut and Greenland, are only about 825 kilometers apart. Nunavut Premier John Mayne said it's troubling to see certain major international players taking such a strong interest in Greenland.
It's not at all what we're accustomed to hearing in terms of the recent past here in the north. And so we desire things to be worked out multilaterally. So our hope is that, between Greenland, Denmark, and then those that they're speaking with, that things can be worked out in a way that's mutually agreeable based on respect.
Trump has also made comments about annexing Canada. Many are concerned that if the U.S. ever did move on Greenland, the focus could then shift across the Davis Strait. Mayne says Nunavut needs to be a part of any federal discussions related to Arctic security.
It's entirely inappropriate for discussions around Arctic security and sovereignty to exclude people who actually live here. Inuit voices need to be heard. The voice from our government is also needing to be around the table. So, it's part of who we are as Canadians.
Greenland and Nunavut have a lot in common, including shared Inuit culture and long-standing connections between communities. Mayne says he wants people in Greenland to know Nunavut stands in solidarity with them.
We view them as partners. We view them as neighbors. And, when they are being put into difficult situations, we feel for them and we want them to be respected, and we want them to have a safe, secure homeland as they deserve.
Justin Hardy, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
2 of 3 people charged in the death of Taya Rae Anne Sinclair were in the Court of King's Bench in Saskatoon this week. APTN video journalist Rachel May is covering the trial.
Michael Smiley and Chelsea Crow were in court this week facing a number of charges in connection with the death of 24-year-old Taya Rae Anne Sinclair of Saskatoon in 2022. Court heard from the Crown that Sinclair was held captive and killed in Saskatoon before her burned remains were found in a snow dump behind a hospital in Prince Albert. On day 1 of the trial, Monday, January 12th, Chelsea Crow pled guilty to assault and unlawful confinement for holding Sinclair and her boyfriend, Kenneth Bell, tied up in a closet. She was originally charged with manslaughter. Her sentencing hearing is set for January 30th. Co-accused Michael Smiley is charged with first-degree murder in this case. His judge-only trial is expected to continue for another 10 days. A third person charged in connection with the case appeared as a Crown witness. Stephanie Halkett Stevenson was sentenced to 18 years in prison without eligibility for parole for 9 after she pled guilty to manslaughter, assault, and unlawful confinement in November 2024. She described taking Sinclair to Smiley's home, tying her up in the basement, and returning later to find her dead under a tarp. She also testified that Smiley told her to clean up her mess and that she later helped transport Sinclair's body from Saskatoon to Prince Albert, where the body was lit on fire. With week 1 of a 3-week trial behind us, the Crown will continue with their evidence before Smiley's defense takes over in the coming days. There's word that Smiley himself could take the stand, as well as expert witnesses and police. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
The RCMP says it's making a database of child sex offenders available to the public for the first time. The RCMP says only the offenders deemed as high risk are included in the database, which it says is meant to help the public get informed and make decisions when it comes to protecting children. Pimicikamak youth evacuees in the city of Winnipeg got to experience some free activities to get them out of their hotel rooms for a day earlier this week, thanks to the generosity of some business owners and the work of the Manitoba Kuwaitnawi Okimakanak. They were allowed in free of charge Monday to Activate, Flying Squirrel, Kid City, and Cineplex theaters. On Facebook, MKO said they lined up these activities to keep youth active and uplifted during this time. The YMCA is still offering ongoing free access to their gyms, play structures, swimming pools, and fitness centers and classes for all Pimicikamak evacuees. This after the Northern Manitoba First Nation experienced an almost 5-day power outage that began on December 28th, which caused widespread sewage backup and flooding in the community. There is still no set date for evacuees to return home. As of January 12th, Manitoba health cards can now be accessed digitally. After making the switch from paper to plastic cards, the Manitoba government has now created the MB Wallet app for easier access. MB Wallet can be installed on Android or Apple tablets and phones. It's an app that allows offline access to your stored health card information. It does not store medical records. In a news release on Monday, the Manitoba government said the digital health card will reduce the need for Manitobans to carry physical cards and supports a more efficient experience. Premier Wabkanu says the digital cards put Manitobans in control of their own information and that the cards will ease access to care while supporting a more responsive health system. The MB Wallet app is free and can be found in the Apple app and Google Play Store. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our latest stories, go to our website at aptnnews.ca. You can find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and to see our latest stories. News services are available for pregnant Indigenous women in the Lanaudière region of Quebec. We'll tell you more about it after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to APTN National News. New services are available for pregnant Indigenous women in the Lanaudière region of Quebec. The Indigenous Friendship Centre there recently launched a new perinatal program. Stephanie DeSève tells us more.
Tu as été tellement merveilleuse.
Anouk Comtois is a doula from the Indigenous Friendship Centre of Lanaudière in Quebec.
C'est comme une meilleure amie de l'accouchement.
Present during the beautiful and difficult moments of childbirth.
Et là, ça poussait fort.
C'est là que je disais Anouk!
Her work supports the medical care provided by midwife Juliane Leroux, a certified medical practitioner.
Parce que tu as essayé la toilette, tu as essayé le banc de naissance, tu as essayé beaucoup d'outils.
Megan Alley was able to count on Comtois' presence during her baby's birth because her partner is Indigenous. Part of her job as a doula is to prepare Indigenous families for the birth.
Une rencontre qui pourrait durer 30 minutes, nous, on va prendre 2-3 heures avec la maman, tant qu'elle a des questions, tant qu'elle a besoin de se faire rassurer, qu'elle veut comprendre, qu'elle est intéressée, nous, on va lui donner le plus d'informations possible. Puis souvent, ça passe par des outils comme le bassin, qu'on va expliquer comment le bassin s'ouvre, comment les hormones œuvrent à travers ça, comment les hormones sont nos amis, qu'il faut les utiliser pendant l'accouchement.
Today, she provides post-pregnancy follow-up care at a birth center in Repentigny, a suburb of Montreal. Although she is based at the Friendship Center in Joliette, she travels around the territory, as far as Saint-Michel-des-Saints, a 2-hour drive. Like the Indigenous Circle, the doula wants the woman to be in balance.
Pour du transport, pour le marché du travail, pour ton logement, ça peut couvrir toutes les sphères de ta vie. Je reste une intervenante, je vais toujours être là. Donc, si jamais ton suivi avec Juliane ne fonctionne pas, moi, je peux continuer mon suivi avec toi, puis t'accompagner dans le système médical à travers tout ça, puis m'assurer que culturellement, tu sois bien dans tout ça.
Comtois is Atikamekw from Manawan. She was a counselor at the Friendship Center before becoming a doula. It was a natural role for her, especially since she is following in the footsteps of an ancestor who is also a doula. Since fall 2024, the Indigenous Friendship Center of Lanaudière has been offering perinatal services.
Megan, si je me trompe pas, c'était notre premier suivi, le vraiment premier.
The program is called Mirokiwin.
C'est vraiment les femmes autochtones qui ont décidé qu'est-ce qu'on allait mettre dans les coprénataux. Quel genre de suivi les femmes avaient besoin. Quel style de cérémonie serait le plus approprié aussi pour nos femmes. C'est vraiment elles qui ont toutes cousu ça ensemble à force de cercles de partage, en se réunissant ensemble.
Sean Petitquet is here with his spouse, Madly. He would not hesitate to choose the Repentigny Birth Center if his spouse were to give birth again.
Très content, très heureux. C'est la plus belle chose qui me soit arrivée dans ma vie.
Baby Onyx is a month and 14 days old. Born in a place that felt natural for Petitquet.
On peut se sentir à l'aise ici. Le monde te parle, le monde te rassure. Puis, ce qui était le fun, c'est qu'on pouvait inviter beaucoup plus de monde que dans un hôpital, genre.
Mirokiwin means growing up well. For growing Indigenous families, it is possible to connect to their culture through ceremonies for the newborn, the placenta, and the first steps.
On peut faire des couvertures, des jupes traditionnelles. Fait que c'est vraiment de briser l'isolement puis de permettre aux femmes de pouvoir se retrouver ensemble puis de co-construire au travers de leur culture, de se retrouver dans un lieu sécuritaire où ils peuvent le pratiquer, mais à travers la périnatalité.
According to Comtois, her services support pregnant women who find themselves without guidance when they leave their communities to give birth.
C'est un des trucs que j'aime le plus avec mon métier. Contrairement à la sage-femme, moi, je suis là en continu après, tu sais. Je vais continuer ce suivi-là. On continue à se texter, on continue à se croiser dans des activités que le CAL fait partout. On se voit, puis c'est ça, de continuer à entretenir ce lien-là.
3 births are scheduled in January, May, and June.
Mon grand rêve, c'était de pouvoir accompagner toutes les femmes. C'est sûr que à un moment donné, ça va faire beaucoup, là. J'ai hâte d'en arriver là.
Stéphanie DeSève, APTN National News, Repentigny.
Earlier this week, we learned of the passing of esteemed journalist and APTN National News' founding news director, Dan David. A changemaker in the world of news, his legacy will live on through the many Indigenous journalists he influenced across the globe. Here's a look at that legacy.
Known by many as a kind, honest, and humble man, Dan David leaves behind a journalistic legacy of integrity following his death at 73 years old on January 12, 2026. David was a Giangahaga or Mohawk, born in Syracuse, New York, June 2nd, 1952, but raised in the Ganasatawge Nation near Montreal. He wanted to be a journalist ever since he read his first newspaper, but he would go on to do more than just that.
Well, he changed the course of history in Canada.
A journalism graduate of the University of Western Ontario, he began his career reporting and producing for the CBC, Vision TV, and other networks before helping launch APTN National News in the year 2000. David wanted to tell news in a different way, one that would be meaningful to our community, says longtime friend and journalist Karen Pugliese.
I think a lot of the confidence our people gained in between 2000 when we started and Idle No More was a lot through the connections that they were seeing at APTN of, I'm going through this in my community, that community has the same problem. And my daughter's missing, a lot of people are missing. We should bind together. Seeing other people stand up for their rights, seeing other people protect their land and protect their water. Those things meant something to our people, and we were covering them with context and truthfulness here and understanding here that other networks didn't have.
David hired and mentored many APTN News staff members who are still working in the newsroom today, including APTN News producer Bruce Spence.
I'm really going to be sad to see him go. I mean, he meant so much to me, and he really left impact on journalism in general, in Canada and across the Indigenous world.
Spence says David was always faithful to the cause and felt our leaders needed to be held accountable just as much as the Canadian and international leaders.
Dan David was always tough with his journalism. He never backed down, never took any prisoners. The way he did it was kind of remarkable, though, because I would think that an adversarial interview would not even know they're being in an adversarial situation because of the way Dan David handled himself as a gentleman, as a scholar, and as a hard-nosed person that ain't going to back down.
Dan David's writing has been published by many outlets, work that has earned him honors like 2 National Magazine Awards, the Duke and Duchess of Wessex Award for Aboriginal Literature, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Canadian Journalism Foundation. His talent and knack for telling stories took him across the world, from Norway to Indonesia to South Africa, training future journalists and strengthening newsrooms. One of his last presentations was for up-and-coming Indigenous journalists, training through the Growing Indigenous Storytellers Fellowship. He shared what he wanted Indigenous journalists to know when first beginning APTN National News.
That the powerful must be held to account for the past and present, that it didn't matter if it were them or us, that the truth will set you free, that seeking and telling the truth matters. We could be proud of telling the truth, even when we looked into the mirror and saw the deepest, darkest parts of our own people, our own communities and families. We needed to understand what the past had done to us if we were ever to understand our present. It mattered back then at the earliest days of APTN News, and I believe it still matters today.
Dan David will remain in the hearts of so many, and the world of journalism will miss you.
A group of young drummers in Northern Ontario are on a mission to bring healing to those having a hard time. We'll bring you that story after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. It was a cool, brisk morning in Winnipeg as Wilf Moore snapped this picture of the train tracks. Thanks for this picture, Wilf. Send your pictures to share@aptn.ca for the chance to be featured as our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting off on the east coast, 4 degrees for Halifax, 0 in St. John's. Nain, sunny and -19, -16 for Kuujjuaq. Val-d'Or, -5, Montreal, 0 degrees. Peterborough, +1 there, Sault Ste. Marie, -3. Kapuskasing, sunny and -12, Sioux Lookout, -18. God's Lake, -25 and sunny, Puckatawagan, -20. Brandon, -21 and sunny, Barons River, -25. Regina, -12 and sunshine, North Battleford, -4. Uranium City, -16 and sunny, La Ronge, -12. -10 in High Level, -2 for Fort McMurray. Red Deer, 4 degrees there, Medicine Hat, +2. Vancouver, sunny and 11 degrees, 6 degrees for Campbell River. Dease Lake, -2 and sunny, Smithers, cloudy and -4. Watson Lake, -4 and sunshine there, Dawson, -15. Norman Wells, -18 and sunny, Trout Lake, -13. Paulatuck, -33 and sunny there, Sax Harbor, -36. Cambridge Bay, -28 and sunny, Baker Lake, -27. Resolute, -31 and sunny there, Arctic Bay, -28. A group of young boys are making their presence heard and felt throughout Northern Ontario through their singing and drumming. The Young Thunder Singers are a youth group from Thunder Bay, and they're on a mission to bring healing to those having a hard time and to honor their ancestors. APTN's Mike McDonald reports.
The sound of voice and drum resonate from within this small coffee house in downtown Thunder Bay. Called Howl at the Moon, it's a no-alcohol bar and caters to those seeking a sober night out, an appropriate venue for the Young Thunder Singers. Since they began performing in elementary school in 2020, the group has grown. Founding members Hunter DeRosier Krieger and Justin O'Keefe say some of those early gigs were a bit rough.
It's quite scary, actually. I wasn't really too familiar with drumming and singing in front of big groups like that. You know, in the school gymnasium, it's quite echoey in there. It can be a bit hard on the ears.
Especially in our gym. We had a big gym at our elementary school, and it's like really loud in there.
Oh yeah.
Even just hitting the drum lately, it's like an explosion.
But O'Keefe says it wasn't long before the group found its footing.
Change your confidence in a good way. It'll prove to you that you're more capable of doing what you could do beyond what you think you could do, I guess you could say.
The prevailing message of the group is healing through culture.
I know that plenty of like young people in this city struggle with like addictions, like abusive households, stuff like that.
Gang violence?
Yeah, stuff like that. And bringing the drum around here can help to bring those people into like healing, you know?
Sharon O'Keefe is Justin's mother and the group's manager. She's been through her own struggles and wants to make sure Justin and the boys stay on their path.
I felt that I needed to help them along the way because they're still all young. They're all under 15. And as his mother, I felt that I needed to help him so he doesn't go off the trail, off the road into doing other things like drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of stuff like that goes around, and I didn't want him to go down that road of life. I can be on my own healing journey as well. I've been sober for over 20 years, and I've been doing what I can to find my way to a good life, and I think I have found it.
Sharon's husband, John O'Keefe, serves as the group's driver. Seeing the group performing in schools makes him proud.
Back in my days when I used to go to school, there was never Native culture in our school. And a lot of times we were picked on because we were Native people. And today it's much different because the kids, they're given that choice to bring their culture in school and drumming, and to share their culture with other kids in school.
The Young Thunder Singers perform regularly throughout the year. They've got a Facebook page for those looking to book them or wanting to see where they're performing next. Mike McDonald, APTN National News, Thunder Bay.
Join us at 6:30 Eastern for a new episode of APTN Nouvelle Nationale with host Kim Sullivan. Hi Kim, what can we expect on tonight's episode?
Hi, Savannah. Well, we had quite the shock on Wednesday when our Premier François Legault resigned. We spoke with a few people, a chief as well as a minister, about how this decision will affect Indigenous issues. We also present a new service for Indigenous women in the Lanaudière region of Quebec. And we gave you the first part of our sit down with the new mayor of Montreal last week. Well, that conclusion airs tonight, 6:30 Eastern. Hope you join us.
Thank you, Kim. And that's all the time we have for your APTN National News this Friday. For news anytime or to catch up on stories you may have missed, go to our website at aptnnews.ca. I'm Savannah Kelly. Marcy Miigwech, thank you for joining us. Hope you have a great evening.